I don't know what they're doing. I don't think they know what they're doing. Hey Blossoms, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Lauren and I create lifestyle and wellness content for flourishing blossoms just like you. In today's video, I'm going to be talking a little bit about an experience that happened to me about a year ago. It was definitely a life-changing experience and I wanted to come on here and speak on it. I did see a lot of other content like it when I was looking for something that would help me with my ovarian cyst. So I figured after I was well removed from the situation that I should make a video as well. So let's get right into it. So, like I said, this happened to me about a year ago. I think it was like almost exactly a year ago, or maybe towards the end of February of 2022. I was at work. Actually, I think that the first starting of the pain happened the day when I had just woken up. I had to work that day and I felt immensely bloated, but like I don't get bloated. So I just assume that this is what bloated feels like, honestly. Or I felt like I had gas. So I remember before going to work, I was looking up a lot of like gas relieving yoga practices. I was doing it on my balcony, trying to just release it. I was like in the happy baby pose. I was doing downward dog, all those things, trying to release the gas. So I go to work. The pain, it starts feeling like someone's blowing up a balloon in the side of my stomach, and it's like very, very tight. So to, most of the shift, I was like limping, like holding my back and my side. But like I have a very, very, very high pain tolerance. So at the time, I'm not registering that like anything could actually be wrong with me. I was just thinking, like I said, that I had gas. So I'm over here trying to eat mustard, do the most, whatever, whatever. And my boss is like, you are you okay? Because at the end of my shift, I was doubled over. Like I could not stand up straight. Like it was really, really bad. But like I said, my pain tolerance is high. So I'm like, oh, this is nothing. Like, I don't know what it is, but it's nothing. I've also never had any medical issues. So I'm just like thinking that those don't exist. Like, I'm just like, no, it's fine. My period might be coming. Something else is happening. So I think I had let the pain go on. I don't think I let it go that long because it had got so painful. So I really think it was like the next day. I went through that whole day, but then it woke me up in the middle of the night. Like I'm like screaming, I'm crying, like this is weird. That doesn't happen to me. Yeah, so that just doesn't happen to me. So I go to the hospital, I go to the emergency room, I describe my pain and everything, go to the room, put me in the MRI machine. So at this point, they're not doing ultrasounds. I don't know what they're doing. I don't think they know what they're doing. They're just trying to figure something out. They drew my blood. First freaking mistake, they drew my blood. So they come back with my lab results, and like everybody's freaking out. The nurses, the doc, like there was like two nurses and a doctor. They're like, we need to do a blood transfusion right now. I'm like, oh no, I'm not here for a blood transfusion. I know my iron is low. My iron's always been low. What's going on with my stomach? Did you guys see anything? Are we moving forward with that? They're like, no, we are not doing anything unless you get this blood transfusion right now. I'm like, that's weird because I'm not doing that. So be fucking for real. Like, no, like fix what's going on, what I'm here for. I'm in pain. I'm telling you, I'm in pain. So mind you, I don't know the logistics. I'm not sure if the blood transfusion and evening out my iron levels would have shrunk my cyst. It probably would have, but like I said, at this point, they haven't told me it's a cyst. They don't know what it is because they didn't do anything besides the MRI machine. So I'm like, okay. And at that point, my pain had lowered because they gave me like whatever the step above Tylenol is that they give you like intravenously or whatever. They gave me that. So like my pain was cool. I was like, okay, I'm not getting a blood transfusion. They made me sign off saying that I wasn't going to get it. Like I've been low iron my whole life. Sorry. And I left. Like I said, my pain was okay at this point. As time goes on, my pain is like it's varying up and down, like, but it's not getting better. So I find an OBGYN. I go to the OBGYN. I'm I'm geeked at the OBGYN because at this point I'm like, this is a specialist. Like, let's get it. We're gonna figure out what's going on. So he does the ultrasound on me. It was very much so a maturing moment for me because I would thought ultrasounds were some gel on the tummy and they put the little tool like TV. No, he stuck a big rod, lubed up the coot, and I'm looking at the thing, and me, I'm like, what is that big thing right there? So he shows me like it's a cyst. He tells me you have a cyst on your ovary. So he was so nonchalant about it. And I don't know if maybe it's because I present myself older than I am and whatever. And maybe he thought I was just more knowledgeable. He was like, oh, it's an ovarian cyst. He's like, you have a cyst. It's actually pretty big and you need to be careful because if it bursts, you can lose your ovary. Mind you, he's saying this like very like cutthroat, no empathy. Like this is obviously a regular Tuesday for him. But I'm like, if it's that big, like let's remove it. Like, what are we doing? He's like, yeah, it could burst and you could lose your ovary. And so I'm like, okay, um, what do I do? He's like, well, I can put you on birth control to regulate your hormones. And I'm like, okay. In my head, I'm like, okay, but like, what if like I can't take birth control? Like, there's got to be like another option, you know? Um, but I'm like, all right. So he's just like, come back if the pain gets worse, right? So I leave. The pain keeps getting worse. I go back to the hospital again. At that point, I tell them at the hospital, I'm like, I have an ovarian cyst. What can we do? Like, I'm in pain. They're like, there's nothing we can do. Mind you, I find out later that with ovarian cyst, you pretty much have to just let it pass, like let it shrink, do the holistic things that you can, and then moving forward, try to monitor your hormones. Why did I have to find that out on my own? And when I'm seeing multiple physicians and no one's saying that. So at this point, I had went to the hospital twice, went to the OBGYN once, and the pain was getting worse. After that second hospital visit, I was like, okay, the OBGYN told me I could come back if it was getting worse. I go back, he's irritated. It's like he's mad. He's mad that I'm back. And I'm like, I didn't know. Like, this is like, what do you want me to do? So I go back and he's like, okay, we'll look at it again. I'm like, yeah, let's see it because the shit feels like it's bursting. Like I'm telling y'all, it's a bubble and it's just do getting bigger. Y'all know what he tells me? I asked him because he looks, he's like, okay, it's still there. But it's fine. It hasn't burst. So I'm okay. How long does it take to go away? He told me out of his mouth, he's not God and he doesn't know. And I said, bitch. And anyways, I was so hurt. I was very hurt because I felt like I was being treated above my age. Like I know at that time I was 23. That I don't know shit. I literally just started getting a pap smear. So the entire experience was very heartbreaking for me. I felt like the medical industry and facilities did not treat me up to par. They did not take my issue seriously. And I came to realize that it is a more common issue than you're told about. And so maybe that's why. But let's get into the things that I did to shrink my cysts naturally and to prevent me from having them in the future. Okay, so the first point I want to make is that I have always had a very heavy flow during my cycle. And what I learned is that this is a telltale sign that you have your body's trying to release a lot of toxins. And so knowing that, and that there's some type of hormonal imbalance, I kind of realized, okay, this is why the cyst was able to grow and get as large as it did. And so what I started to do was, okay, let's look up things that will keep me in balance with my hormones. Number one is that I eliminated imbalancing foods. It was caffeine, simple carbs, so like non-nutritious carbs like refined flours, white flours, wheat. It's impossible to say I completely got rid of them, but I definitely minimized them and still continue to as much as I can, because those things produce more estrogen in your body, which is gonna cause those imbalances. So instead of those, I replaced them with healthier foods and balancing foods. So the second thing that I did was I was into a lot of juicing. Now, I've always been a juice girl. My mom is a juice girl, and so I always grew up in that type of environment with juicing. And you know what they say, like you have to eat your water. And so I began to juice things that were very, very high percentages of water. And so these things are like beets, oranges, pineapples, ginger, cucumbers, all of these different types of fruits and veggies that I just researched and found were good for me. Beets are very, very good for your reproductive system. Everything that I looked up was always telling me beets, and it kind of like makes sense when you think about like red and blood and just like the synchronicity type thing. So I started juicing a lot. And the great thing about juicing is that a lot of fruits and vegetables have high iron. So I will never be able to be put in those situations where I go to the doctor for one thing and they want to keep bringing up my iron. I also began getting consistent with iron supplements. I have recently stopped doing that because I realized that it's um, man-made iron, not man-made, but like made in the lab, and I would rather get my iron from organic sources. Um, so yeah, I know I'm kind of kicking through these fast, but I don't want the video to be that long. So right now, the first things that we have is getting rid of the hormone imbalancing foods. So that's also like I mentioned caffeine and the carbs, but that's alcohol, that's red meats, that's milk, dairy. Get out of here. Get out. So, as you guys know, I try my best to stick to a plant based diet, especially when I'm at home in my own environment. I'm making my own foods. Of course, it's easy to slip up when I leave the house and when I'm around friends and have those social pressures. But in the house, I definitely stick to a um, plant based diet for the most part. The next thing is herbs and herbal teas. I really got into like womb healing, excuse me, and some of my favorite YouTubers that you guys can check out are Takia B, Hitomi, Lynette Adkins. All of them, they speak on a lot of things like cycle syncing and womb healing. And so herbal teas are super good for when you're on your period and your body's craving something warm. And then it's also good because there's a lot of herbs that are just perfect for your reproductive system, which is why you see people doing the yoni steams. Something I never have gotten into, but I'm definitely interested in it. But the type of teas that I would recommend that I do to this day, every single morning, wake up in the morning before you have anything. Of course, you can have water, but the next thing you're gonna have is that ginger lemon tea. Just make some water, get some ginger. You can either juice the ginger or like grate it up in there, and a whole bunch of lemon. I also drink a lot of chamomile tea, and then dandelion tea has also proven to be good for ovarian cysts or any type of female like reproductive diseases and things of that nature. So research and do your research on your herbs. There's a bunch out there that are good for your ovaries and just your body in general. So get in the habit of daily teas, like tea time, tea time, tea time. Teas are very, very helpful. Stay away from the caffeine, stay away from the pop, get into your teas. Next is fasting. So I've always been a fast girl. Matter of fact, I was wearing this dress in my last fast video, which was years ago, like 2019. Check me out. Maybe I'll tag it around here somewhere. But always been a fast girl. I used to fast with intentions of getting closer to God, still do fast with intentions of getting closer to God. But now, in addition to that, it's really to detox my body and to like purge me of all the toxins because of the fact that I don't consistently follow a vegan diet, of course, or an alkaline vegan diet, because there's a big difference. So, of course, my body can still hold on to those toxins. So, doing juice fast and just even fruits and veggie fast help to eliminate those toxins. And I remember watching Takia B's video, and she spoke about how every time you're eating, you should be using the bathroom because if not, that's just sitting in your body, and that's never good for anything. So I do fast as much as I can, even if I'm doing like intermittent fasting. If you're having issues with imbalances in your body, I believe that it's really helpful for you to fast at least once a month, whether you're doing like 3 to 5 days of just fruits, veggies, and water, whether you're doing just juices, like whether you're making fresh juices. It's always good to give your body a break. We're so naturally inclined to eating all of these processed foods that you don't even have a clue how your body might feel off of it. I felt amazing ever since every single time I've done a 3 to 5 day fast on just water I've done and just fruits and vegetables I've also done. You feel very electric. You feel incredibly electric. It's a great feeling to remove those things from your body and just sit. You feel it's amazing. And I think that it has played a very big key role in why I have not received another ovarian cyst. Now, mind you, it has only been a year since my last one, but the when I had my cyst, I was opening up to a lot of my coworkers who had also had cysts and had got them back to back. And that's a common thing. Sometimes you shrink one and you grow another one. You grow another two. I've heard of people having one and then with two small ones growing on it as well. So I do think that the steps that I was taking at the time and the ones that I am taking now on a daily basis are helping to eliminate the potential of me even getting one. So yeah, I would want to definitely continue doing these. I want to look into the yoni steams more, like I mentioned, and then also like yoga, because it's all connected, you guys. Like the physical, the metaphysical, the internal, everything is connected. And so yoga helps you to heal your body. Breath work helps you to heal your body. We store a lot of things in different parts of our body, and yoga definitely helps us to release that. So I see myself getting way more consistent with that. Those are pretty much the things that I did. So if you need a refresher, I upped my tea time. I started drinking a lot more herbal teas, ginger, dandelion, chamomile, spearmint, all of those different types of herbs. Do your own research. You'll find a lot of good herbs, as well as juicing, beetroot, a lot of greens, fruits like pineapples, citrusy stuff, cucumbers. Juicing was very, very heavy then. I still implement that now as much as I can. Helped me to boost my iron. Eliminated those hormone imbalancing foods, of course, yoga, yoni steams, all things that will help you to shrink your ovarian cyst and to eliminate the possibility of them coming back. I just also wanted to tell you guys, like, go with your gut when you're in the hospital. Don't let them people tell you that something's wrong that's not really wrong, or you know yourself better than anybody else. Now, of course, take the medical advice as needed, but also if there's a holistic way to go about it, I am all for that. And I encourage you guys to speak about things like this with your friends. I had never heard of it. And then once I got it and I started speaking to my coworkers about it, I had like 2 coworkers who had it and were able to provide me with a lot of support. So if you're going through something like that, or even something similar like fibroids or precocious, I excuse my ignorance, PCOS, speak on it. You know, it helps us to grow a better, empowering group of women who feel comfortable, because I know I felt very isolated when it happened to me, especially from how the doctors were treating me. So speak on it. If you want to speak on it here in my comment section, is definitely a safe space to open up and tell me your story. But that's pretty much it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I love you, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.